subjects. Mini-me. Mini-me.
Hello, I'm an alien developer. Today, in celebration of reaching 6,000 subscribers, we're going to share our stories. Please take care of us.
안녕하세요. It's really awkward. 감사합니다. 넥스트 인사. 감사합니다. Today's subject is, where is it?
Yeah, when we first met.
Yeah, when we first met.
Our first meeting, we met by my apartment at the time, which was in Gangnam.
Yeah, like when we chat each other at the first time, she said, "Oh, I'm 183
Centimeters.
Yeah, centimeters. And no joke, haha. So I thought.
Which then, if we translate it into how I texted it, he's like, "Are you really 183 centimeters?" I said, "Yeah, no joke." Haha.
After I arrived there, when I saw you,
He is a very nice average size.
thank you.
You're welcome. We also had masks on at the time because it was still during
Yeah.
COVID. It was on the tail end of COVID.
Yeah, and also you felt that you didn't want to come.
Yeah, that was very true. I had just had a long weekend with my friends in Incheon, and I did not want to go. I was like, well, do I go? Do I not? It's too late to cancel, darn. So there was a possibility that I would not have even met him.
Yeah. Was it good choice or a bad choice?
Oh, it was a great choice. It
Great choice?
was a great choice.
Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. I decided to go.
Like a man should lead the conversation
Yes.
as a man. So, but the problem was my English level was much worse than now.
It's more of a confidence thing.
You are not that talkative, actually.
No, I'm not. I come from a family that's extremely talkative. And so I can be, but I'm actually very awkward
Yeah.
when I have to lead the conversation.
Whenever I say like, hello, the weather is really good, right? And
Yeah. I was also very, so in my defense, also, like once we got to the place where we had dinner and I saw June without his mask off for the first time, I was kind of taken with how attractive he was.
Mhm.
So I felt myself do a full blush and suddenly I couldn't make eye contact anymore. And it took some alcohol to actually get me talking.
yes,
At a wine,
Which
at a
I
wine
could
bar that we
understand.
went to. Yeah.
I could understand because it's so fast.
Yes.
The first meeting, but the same now? Same attractive?
Yes, very attractive.
Yeah. Slim.
Even more so now because of the personality that I.
And you have a max now. What was next one? Did you feel any difference dating style in America and Korea?
Yeah. It was much more straightforward.
In
With-
Korea?
In Korea, it felt like. Because there's a
really?
lot of, in America, you can go for a long time before somebody will actually say like, oh, well, are we boyfriend and girlfriend? It can go for a long time. So you could be dating somebody or going out with somebody for months and you still don't know if you are officially boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yes.
The nice part about dating here, as I was dating to get married and I was looking for somebody to spend the rest of my life with, and I don't like wasting my time, it was a 3 dates in, and I'm like, okay, so are we boyfriend and girlfriend? And you were like, well, yeah, of course.
Yes.
And yeah.
It was also personally also curious. Actually, I heard something, but what thing make you decide to get married with me? Like what kind of things?
I like this question because there are actually a few incidents that made it very clear that I would want to marry you. I think the first instance was when we traveled together first.
Tongyeong?
We went to
Yes.
Tongyeong, and I had heard from other friends like traveling with somebody is make or break. So when I went in understanding like this is either going to be horrible and I'm never going to want to see you again, or I'm going to realize that, oh yeah, no, we can continue this. This would be okay. Because we were staying there for like 4 days.
Yeah, actually we enjoyed it quite well.
Yeah, it was really hot though.
Personally, I didn't think like that way when I traveled. So, just I felt like as a simple.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. Like it must be fun. That was all I thought actually. Not really like judging something.
Yeah.
뭐 하고 싶어 여기? 배고파요? Hungry? Wait. 잠깐만요.
All right.
Yeah. So and then there was a thing. Actually, I heard. What I said? Like 온도 stuff. What was that?
Oh, yeah. There was so it was cold as winter is. So this was actually a lot farther along in our relationship. Ended up happening was it was really cold. June was over, and I don't like 온도. I don't. It's a thing. It feels weird on my feet. And so what June ended up doing was he bought me a heater so that I would stay warm during the winter because he was concerned about it, which
Actually, really concerned because my wife never turned the 온도 on.
I'm from Michigan. I'm used to cold floors. We bundle. Grew up in a house with really bad windows. Grew up in a house with like old windows and old insulation. But there was that. I got sick one, and June drove over like in the middle of the night. It was not middle of the night. It was late though, around like 11. And he came over with medicine, and it was just like stop by and then go back home immediately.
Antibiotics.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my wife texts with my parents alone a lot. I didn't know that kind of information linked to your family. So, just really good point.
Anytime he did something really nice, my parents would find out. At least my mom would, and then my mom would tell my dad.
Oh, yeah, you should do it like this.
I was trying to convince them as they were having a hard time with grade.
Also, like a hill for you.
Oh yeah, there had been an issue with a lot of the people that I had dated in my past.
I did really romantic things a lot.
He's saying that because my claim is that he's not super romantic. But I had dated I had gone out with a decent amount of guys who had an issue with my height because I am tall. And a lot of what they would say would be like, okay, your height is fine, you just can't wear heels. Or just don't wear heels around me. June went the complete opposite, and he bought me heels. And I think part of what you said was like, you're taller than me anyway, why does it matter?
Because I thought because of your height, you had no chance to wear heels, which usually women want to try. Mm-hmm. So just feel sad about that. So anyway, she's tall, no matter what I wear.
There's no amount of lifts that you can wear that would make you.
So even I wear heel, you're saying
or stilts.
Yeah. So actually I didn't expect it would be a good point for. Yeah, but now I can think that,
it meant a lot to me.
I was quite smart.
It meant a lot to me.
Yeah, so I remember.
As I got LASIK done, and so I wanted to do nothing but sleep and keep my eyes closed, and he was a wonderful boyfriend at the time and stayed in my dark room doing nothing.
As you guys know, I don't sleep at night, so I couldn't sleep at night, and there's only one room, so I cannot turn the lights on. So while she was sleeping, I went out, I drank a beer alone in the small laundry room.
Laundromat.
Yeah, there's a really small table like this for one person. In Christmas.
That's commitment right there. So 6 months to decide to get married. We got a wedding planner in spring at some point, probably April, March. And then you proposed in May, right before my parents came to meet you.
Yes.
So when he asked me in early April, like, hey, so a month from now, do you have plans? I found this deal at this one restaurant. And I'm like, yeah, I'm free.
But we are living really well, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think because our goal was quite good, quite same. We wanted to have a baby
We talked
really
about
fast.
we talked about a lot of the uncomfortable conversations really early on, and we were relatively on the same page.
But actually, I didn't say straightforward, like more like a going around.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned about that, which might be uncomfortable for women, but she mentioned about that first, so I feel free to have a conversation with that topic.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to have a baby
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
And that's a hard thing for a guy to bring up.
Yeah, it's really.
And usually I wouldn't recommend it. But we also worked out a lot of stuff when we were on the car ride back from Tongyang.
Yeah, we talk a lot.
We talked a lot about what do you see in the future, what do you want, what are you looking for when you envision like your family and your living day-to-day life. What does that look like?
Even one of them don't want to have a baby, then we might not get married, I think.
Yeah, because that was a non-negotiable for me. You can't compromise on a kid.
Yeah.
You can't have half of one.
We were also busy, even though you are quite young. In 20 ages, right, actually?
Yes. We've known each other for like 3 years now.
Yes, 3 years.
We
Less than 3 years?
We moved along.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Let's have a baby now.
Married first.
Marriage first, so let's marriage first, really fast. Everything happened within 2 years.
Really fast.
Anyway, thank you for watching our video. I'll do my best. And just please comment.
Or let us know if you have any other questions that you'd like us to answer. We can do that.
Next time, I'll talk about the English level is important to marriage life.
Can be.
Okay. Next. 안녕해요.